Hey, what's up everybody? So today I'll be showing you how I make a pizza from scratch. I'll be showing you how I make the dough, how I make the sauce, how I prep it, and how I cook it, and show you some tips that I've learned throughout the past that can hopefully help you out. So let's get started. Alright, so here I have 3 1/4 cups, or about 500 grams of the bread flour. I have 1 1/2 cups of warm water, about 110 degrees. I have about half of a tablespoon of salt and 1 package, or about 7 grams of yeast. So I begin by making a well in the middle of the flour, and I pour the warm water inside the little well that I made. Then I add the yeast to one side of the bowl and then the salt to the other side. And then I start off using my KitchenAid mixer. I got a dough hook, and then I finish off kneading it by hand. So yeah, let's move over there. Alrighty, so our dough's all set. I'm at my KitchenAid. I like to start it off on the KitchenAid with the dough hook, and then I finish it off by hand on the counter. So get it in there. Place, lock it in. Start slow. Basically, you just want to start slow so the flour doesn't fly everywhere, and then as the dough starts to come together, just speed it up. And of course, if you don't have a KitchenAid mixer or the dough hook, you just want to mix it all together in the bowl and then just throw it onto the counter, onto a floured counter, and just knead it by hand for about 5 to 8 minutes until it becomes nice and stretchy. Alrighty, so the KitchenAid's done a lot of the work. I'm just going to finish it off on the counter over here. Alright, so I'm just going to finish kneading it by hand. I just like to get a feel on the dough, so I just lightly flour my surface. Alright, so I'm just going to lightly oil my bowl and then cover this and then let it rise for about 1.5 hours. Alright, so now that we have our dough rising, we can get started on making our pizza sauce. Alright, so the ingredients for the pizza sauce is 1/4 of a large white onion that's just been roughly chopped up. I have 4 cloves of garlic. I have 1 tablespoon of anise seeds, 1 tablespoon of Italian herbs. I have 4 Roma tomatoes that have just been chopped up, rough chop, pretty large. You can use canned tomatoes, but I find that fresh tomatoes taste better. I have about 2 cups of basil leaves, and then I like to put a little bit of wine in mine, kind of deglaze it a little bit, so I'm using a Merlot, just a local wine I picked up, and then about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Alrighty, so the pan's been heated up on a medium heat. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Add my onions. Add my garlic. Give that a little stir. Then I'm going to add my Italian seasoning, my anise seeds, and give that a good stir. Alright, then I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of the Merlot. I'm going to add my tomatoes. So I'm going to cook this until the wine has reduced down to where it's almost dry. So just a couple more minutes, I'm going to add the basil and then just blend it up. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it. The wine has reduced down. Add my basil leaves. Just wilt those down. Alrighty. I'm just going to add this to a food processor, blend it up, and we'll be all set. Alright, so our pizza sauce has been all cooked. Just going to add it to the food processor, blend it up. Set to go. Alright, so the dough is risen. I have all my ingredients prepped out right here. The oven's cranked all the way up. This one goes up to 525, so you just want to crank your oven all the way up. I have my pizza pan in there, so it's nice and hot. And we're just going to roll out the dough now. This recipe will make about 2 14-inch size pizzas. Go. Pizza peel. And then I put a little bit of semolina flour down. If you don't have this, you can just use the flour that you were using. Put that on there. And then just kind of roll up a crust. Alrighty, so I begin by adding a little bit of the pizza sauce and then just spreading that around. And then I like to add just a thin layer of cheese on top of that. Then I add my ingredients. So I have some purple onion, some bell pepper, and then some pepperoni, and I have some spicy Italian sausage that I cooked up and then just chopped up in a food processor. Then a little bit more cheese on top. And then I like to finish with a little bit of spinach. Toss a little semolina on here. Then I'll bake that for about 8 minutes. So, and then while that one's baking, I'm gonna get the other one prepped up, ready to go. This one's going to be barbecue chicken, so a little bit of barbecue sauce, some of that pizza. I'm just gonna give that a pizza sauce. Alrighty, so to put this barbecue chicken pizza together, put the barbecue sauce and a little bit of pizza sauce on top, and then again a little bit of cheese, and this is just a mozzarella and cheddar cheese blend, and then a little bit of chicken that I've seared and then baked off and then diced up, and then I have some brown sugar bacon, and then I'm going to add a little bit of bell pepper, a little bit of onion, and then a little bit more cheese on top. Alrighty, so the timer went off. Let's see how it's looking. There it goes. We're going to put that over here. A little of semolina. There it goes. Whew, that was close. And 8 minutes. Oh. Alrighty. there it is. And then on the barbecue one, I had to garnish it with a little bit of cilantro. There you go, 2 homemade pizzas.